I would, rein it back. If we just had people, originally when the police were created and they're meant to wear suits because they're meant to be equal to us. I was telling you this the other day.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the reason they traditionally wore blue was because it was Navy surplus. So they had all of this blue cloth and they said, okay, we'll stick them in that then. And they used to, carry their batons and their helmet and they had whistles. But apart from that, they didn't have much more. This was at a time when you could go about with a gun in your pocket and that was perfectly legal. And some MPs, they said, oh, can they have the cutlasses? We've got some spare Navy cutlasses. They said no, because that would make them a standing army. That would mean that they had more power than the people, and it would no longer be civic policing. It wouldn't be a police force. It would be a standing army. So now they carry batons, pepper spray, tasers. These are all things that are classed as deadly weapons or firearms that we cannot have. So now, if we were to have them, I were to have them, I'd probably be locked up for life. But they are allowed to be armed more than us. Yet the whole of tradition, the whole concept, their charter, says that they have to be armed less than us for them to be a legitimate force, and not just simply some criminal organisation.
Well, you can understand that if it's like an anti-terrorism unit and they're in a place which is really dangerous and there is a threat of terrorism happening. But this is Speaker's Corner, and all that's happening here today is that citizens are going about their business, they're chatting to each other in groups, they're filming things,
not
they're
groups.
taking... Well, they're being split up. If they're in a group of 3 or more people, they're being split up. It's unbelievable, isn't it? This is the ridiculousness of dystopian London at the moment.
I did not see any groups whatsoever. I fully disavow any people who want to hang out as a 3. You dirty, 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 dirty spreaders. You should be ashamed of yourself. Why don't you go and... Okay, don't stand in a huddle like the police over there, right? But look at our great police force, all of them crammed into a van, right? They're clearly, and not many of them wearing masks either, but clearly we should take our example from them. They're fine, upstanding citizens and not at all a criminal organisation here to oppress us on behalf of communist overlords. But I've just been walking around and I had a little read of my book. I've already read a few other books by George Orwell, but I thought The Road to Wigan Pier would give me some inspiration. My ancestors were miners, and I think that all that my family went through in the mines or the trenches, it matters so much. It really does. And everything they built was built on the coal of Wales and the blood in the trenches. And it's sad to see what they're doing here today.
It's very sad, isn't it? Because I've always supported the police. I've always thought, right up until this year, they do a good job. They're here to protect us. They're here to look after citizens and catch criminals. But this whole coronavirus situation, which is completely manufactured, has turned the police against the people. That's at best a very sad situation, but it's a terrible situation because we don't want to be at loggerheads with the police. We want them to be doing their real job, which is to keep us safe and to catch criminals, but not to be harassing and intimidating ordinary citizens. And that's one reason why I'm standing for mayor, because I want to get back to that.
You don't mention.
I don't mention it
Vote
ever.
for this guy.
First time I've mentioned it today. Really won't be on 100 videos.
So if you were mayor now, what would you do about all this?
Well, I'll stop it. I wouldn't have lots of police here to intimidate citizens. There's the guy in the cycle. He's not here today. The guy who's normally here every Sunday is the officer designated to Speaker's Corner. He's built a good relationship up with the people over the years. He's not here today. To welcome people.
He is.
Where are the normal officers for Speaker's Corner? They're not here, but they've sent in 6 vans of people who are, not being the most pleasant, I would say, and I'm being polite there, to people. So, we just have to get back to normal. That's all we need. And, I don't think that I'm just following orders is an excuse. If we learn anything from history, you learn that people have a responsibility to their conscience and to natural law and to common law and to protect the citizens. The police swear an oath, and their oath is to protect the citizens, and they're not doing that here today. So they need to get back to their oath, and they can't rely on that excuse that they're following orders.
So it's like, who's going to protect us from the protectors?
Exactly.
Who watches the Watchmen?
Indeed.
Oh,
Indeed.
stand up, mate. Well, we're
That's
glad
where
you've
we
been
are.
doing such a great job in the London Assembly.
Thank you. Thank you. You're
And
welcome.
When's your campaign going to get? I've seen you going out. You've been all over the place. But when's it that you're going to start doing leafleting and stuff like that?
Well,
Are you recruiting activists?
Yeah, absolutely recruiting activists at the moment. Had some leaflets printed, which is fantastic. They're being delivered on Tuesday, so we're going to start giving leaflets out now. So over the summer, I've really been working on setting up the Heritage Party. So I've been kind of focused on doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Now we're going to get out much more. So you're all welcome to join as activists to give out leaflets to get people to join and spread the word. Yeah, please do.
More and more people now are getting fed up with people saying when they're not in office they do something, and when they get in they don't do it anymore. So that's happening more and more now, especially, you know, in what's going on.
Well, exactly. I mean, I've had one, even two of the parties at various times ask me to join them, and I've said no, because I know if you join them, you'll be muzzled. You won't be allowed to say what you want to say. You have to toe the party line. That's why I've started my own party. You know, I went independent for a bit, now I've started my own party because, you know, freedom of speech and liberty is so important, because without that, nothing else matters. And yeah, so I've done that so I can say what I like, and I think, you know, I think that millions of people in the country would agree. I mean, wouldn't agree on 100% of things, but agree on many, many things. And we want our freedom back, and we just want the government to be there to create the conditions where people can go about their business in freedom, in a framework where they can do what they want, as long as they don't harm each other.
Even if you become mayor, you're still going to be hindered on what you can do though.
There will be I won't be hindered by a party. So I won't be hindered by having to toe the Labour Party line or the Tory Party line. But of course the Mayor's power is restricted because you've got Westminster as well. The Mayor doesn't make legislation. So sometimes you get candidates promising to do stuff, but they're inhibited by what the MPs in Westminster decide. So there is that. I'll be honest about that. You know, I won't be able to do everything, and because some things need action in Westminster.
They hinder you from doing things that are helping everyday people. So you
Yeah,
end up in a,
but you do have control of the police, and you have control of the transport, TfL, in London. Those are the two big things the Mayor has. And so the Mayor sets the tone and sets the agenda for the police, and he also sets the agenda for Transport for London. So, you know, I've said what I'll do in those areas, so that's what I'll do.
Do you think Sadiq Khan is personally responsible for the state of Speaker's Corner today? For the amount of
He
police?
is. Well, do you know what? I asked him on Thursday in Mayor's Question Time, should Speaker's Corner be open? And he said, yeah, I think it should do. And then you've got here today, the police seem to be doing something different. Now, what he said is, I don't get involved in the everyday operations of the police. But he's the Police and Crime Commissioner. So, you know, I think if you're the Police and Crime Commissioner, you should be responsible and be able to change what's happening here.
Daisy, just a quick question.
Yeah.
After lockdown ends on the 2nd, what are the chances of Speaker's Corner being allowed to continue as normal? Because it seems to me they're setting the precedent.
You know, I certainly hope it will do. But I mean, that again, this is coming from Westminster, so you know, they're talking about a tiered system now. But you know, we've got to get this back to normal. But this is a symbol. This is a symbol of freedom. You know, that's why it's so important that they shut it down. We need to open it up again.
Well done.